So what is the networking means? When we want to open a database sessions from a client, whatever it is, whether it's traditional client or a browser-based client, we need to connect to the database across a network. So Oracle Net, we use Oracle Net. So Oracle Net is a software component that initiates, establishes, and maintains connection between clients and server. Okay, so we need to install the Oracle Net on the both server and client machine. So when instance startup, a listener process establishes a communication pathway to Oracle. Okay, when a user process makes a connection request, the listener determines whether it should be a dispatcher process or shared server process or dedicated process and establishes an appropriate connection. Okay, so listener is a communication pathway between databases. It is also a communication pathway between databases. If we have multiple databases on an instance run on one computer, okay. So or we are using real application cluster. So we need the service name which enables instance to register automatically with other listener to the same machine. So now I will show you how does it work. Suppose that this is client machine. Okay, so this is client machine and this is server. This is server. Okay, I will give you an example. Suppose there is one person and this person wants to communicate with this person. Okay, so if this is person A and person B here. Okay, so this person wants to communicate with B or wants to go with B. This A person wants to go to B house. So how this person will go? Can we go directly from A to B? So we need what we need? We need the address. We need the address. Okay. So A must know the B address. If A doesn't know the B address, we cannot reach to the B. Okay. So first we need the address. Then second thing we need the house number. Okay. We reach to the address, but we need the house number, or you can say door number. You can say the door number. So there will be door in this house. So we need the door number. So this is the door number. Okay. Now this is the big house and there are multiple rooms here. So many rooms here. So the bee is staying in some other room somewhere. We have suppose that we have here uh, 20 rooms. So we might be staying in this room number 20. Okay. So for that we need a different type of means different. We need some code. Okay, how to communicate with A to B. So we need some password or something, or this address room. Suppose that this is a room. So how to access this room? How to communicate with the with if you enter in the room, you enter in the house. So we need some password. Okay, to communicate with A and B. So like that, same thing happen in the database. Okay, so now this is user, and this is database server. This is server. Now user wants to connect with the server. So first it needs address. It requires the address. Now in database server we have a user, like we have a user like a Scott. Okay, a Scott will have the password, right? Suppose Tiger is the password, user is Scott, and Tiger is the password. It's there in the database server. Now the first thing we need is address. Second thing we need is like door number. Okay. Third thing we need is some password. Okay. So address I have said you earlier. So address is nothing but the IP address. Okay. In the database, address is nothing but the IP address, and door is nothing but the port number, and password is the same. This is Scott user and password is Tiger. So this user wants to connect with the database. So we need the first we need is the IP address. Second thing we need the second thing we need the database name. So database name is the prod. So this user needs to put the database name, and third thing we need to put the username and password. Okay, so the user will connect to the database. Now this user can go to the database. This user can reach to the database with multiple way. Like suppose that if A wants to go to the B, then he can use the different mode of transportation like bike, bus, or flight, anything. So the is the same thing. The user wants to connect to the database, then they can use the different type of transportation system like TCP, IPC. Okay, they can use different type of protocol. So the client will log into the system, and it will use the application like SQL Plus, and this client will put the username and password and address number, database name. First it will need the IP address, then port number, then database name and username and password. Then this user will connect to the database server. Okay, now the user can connect with the database with two types. First is the dedicated server mode, and second one is the shared server mode. So what will happen in the shared server mode and what will happen in the dedicated server mode? So first I will show you the dedicated server. So this is a database server. So first we need to configure is the listener. We need to configure listener. This is the user. Here is the listener and here is the database server. Okay. How this user will reach to the will connect to the database server? So first thing is require is this user needs the username and password, okay, and IP address and database name. This user needs to put the username, password, database name, and IP address. Okay. So first this user will connect to the listener. Okay, it will connect to the listener. Then this listener will authenticate and he will be connected to the database server. So first it will go to the listener. So this is this you can say that security guard. Okay. So this is the guard. If you are going to enter in a room, then we have the security guard. So this is considered as a security guard, and it will verify, authenticate this user has access to this database, database or not. Okay. So we need to, for that we need to username, password, database name. Okay. In dedicated server, then what it will do, if the user is connected, then it will start a server process and it will create a dedicated server. It's called the PGA, program global area. Okay. So this user will create this process will create one PGA, one server process, that is called the PGA. So all information about the all information about the user, this user is connected, right? So the server process will serve the user. Okay. So whatever the SQL is generated, login information, stack information, cursor information, the user session information will be stored in the PGA, and this will be done by the server process. Okay. So this is the server process. So server process information will be stored in the PGA. Now once the user connected to the database, then this communication pathway will go on. This will no longer will be used. Once it is connected, it won't use this path. It will directly talk to the, so it will directly talk to the database server. Okay, so it will directly talk. This is gone. This is no longer will be used. It will directly talk. So once the user is connected, then this path is gone and user will directly connect to the database, one-on-one communication. Okay, so there is no mediator, one-on-one communication. One user connected, one PG will be allocated, and it will connect directly to the database. Okay, so there is different user, there is one more user. If there is one more user, first it will go to the listener, then it will go to the database server. Okay, it will create one server process, PGA. Okay, it will create one PGA. Okay, it will create a PGA one created. Then once it is connected, then it will communicate directly with the server. This pathway will again go on. Okay, so once it is connected to the database, it will directly talk to the database server. Okay, so this is user one. Okay, so this is the database dedicated server. How does it work? Okay, so every user will create one server process. So suppose that we have 1,000 users. What will happen? The 1,000 server process will be created. Okay, so it will consume more CPU power. If we have more server process, it will consume more CPU power. So this is not the good approach. Okay, if you connect it to the dedicated server, we have 1,000 users and they are creating server process. Each user creating one server process, then it will consume the memory power. It will consume the memory. CPU memory. So this is not a good approach. So for that we need a shared server. So what will happen in the shared server is, now we will see what happens in the shared server process. Okay, suppose in the shared server process, if the user wants to connect with the database server, first it will go to the listener. First it will go to the listener, then listener will create one dispatcher. One dispatcher process, it will create one dispatcher. Okay, so this user wants to communicate with the database. First, it will go to the listener. Then it will create one dispatcher process. It will create one dispatcher process. Okay. So what dispatcher process will do is, this will create a request here. There will be, it will create a request and response queue. This dispatcher process will create this it create request queue and response queue. So it will be there in the system global area or shared global area. So it won't create the PGA program global area. It will not be created. So each each user will not create a server process. So what will happen? Instead of creating a server process, it will put in the request queue and response queue. Okay. Okay. Once this user is connected, this pathway will go. Then now user will be directly communicate with the dispatcher. Okay, and dispatcher will communicate with the database server. So this listener communication will go on. It will go, and user will directly connect to the dispatcher. It won't directly connect to the database server. In dedicated server mode, it will connect to the dispatcher. And if user wants to get some data, then it will put in the request queue. Okay, and this, if you put in the request queue, and you will get the data. And if you execute some data, if you execute some command, select a star from employee, then it will be executed, and then it will put in the, after getting the fetching the data, it will put in the response queue. Then user will get the data, and this response queue, whatever the data in the response queue, it will be put to the dispatcher. Then user will get the data. Okay. So once this user is connected, and put in the response queue, then only one server process will be initiated. Only one server process. One user connected, one server process will be initiated. Suppose the user 2 come, then it will go to the, first it will go to the listener, then it will connect to the dispatcher, then dispatcher will this will put in the response request queue, and after getting the data, it will be put in the response queue. Okay, now this will go to the dispatcher, and user 2 will get the data. So only one server, we need only one server. So what is the benefit is, if we have only one, we have request and response queue. After this user wants some to get the data, it will put in the request queue and it will move to the here. If getting the data, then request queue. This database server will first serve the request queue and put in the response queue. Then it will be free. After getting the request, if it is free, then this here the user 2 will get user 2 will have the request queue here. After serving, this will put in the response queue. So it will be free. It won't become idle. In what happened to in the dedicated server means, if we created one PGA, if we have the PGA, right? We have created one PGA, so it will be dedicated. Suppose that there is a call center, okay. If there is a call center, so what will happen in the call center? Most of the time they are doing only talking. They will talk only. So out of 10 minutes, they will use only 1 minute, 1 or 2 minutes. Hardly they will use only 1 or 2 minutes. So most of the time they will spend in the talking. So they are not using the database. Only they are talking on the phone. Only 2 minutes they will use. Okay, suppose that call center employee is updating something and put the request, and after 10 minutes again put something. So till 10 minutes this will become idle. 9 minutes this will become idle. This PGA will become idle because this is dedicated to this server process is dedicated to this user. So till 9 minutes it will be idle. So most of the CPU power will consume the CPU power also. If it is not using also, it will consume the CPU power. But here, once this user is sitting idle, then this resource will be free. Request queue and resource will be free. It will go to the database server, and if wants to get the data, then it will put in the response queue. Okay, so this will be free. So 9 minutes it will be free for other user. This request queue will be free for the other user. Okay. So 9 minutes it will be free. For 9 minutes it will be free. So in 9 minutes this server will serve multiple users. Okay. So that's why we are using dedicated server. So why we need the shared server means why we need the dedicated server and why we need the shared server. So we need the dedicated server if we are running a dedicated job like backup. If you are doing backup, then we need the we need a dedicated server process. Okay. So if we have enough CPU power, then we can use the dedicated server. Okay. And if we don't have the enough CPU power and we want to use the database server, then go for the shared server process. Okay. So shared server process will boost the performance. It will boost the if we have the less CPU. If you design the shared server process, it will boost the performance. Okay. But if we have the enough CPU power, and if you have enough CPU power and if you design the configure the shared server, then it will degrade the performance. Why? Because it will put in the request queue. We have 1,000 users. So if there are 1,000 users connecting to the one request queue, what will happen? It will wait for some time. If it is connecting at the same time, 1,000 users connecting with the same time, then user needs to wait for some time, for a second or something. Okay. So because it's getting put in the request queue, and when the user is idle, then it will be the when the user is idle, then what will happen? It will remove from here the request queue, and it will go to the After getting data, it will move to the response queue. But the 1000 users want executing the query at the same time, then the performance will be great. Okay. So if we have the less CPU power and we want to serve the more number of users, then go for the shared server. Okay. So okay. So here we have created one dispatcher. Okay. Suppose that this dispatcher can handle suppose that 100 users. You can say 100 users. 100 users. And the shared server is not able to handle 100 users, then you can create a multiple shared server. You can also create a shared server 1, shared server 1, and you can design a shared server 2. Okay, so if you so so 50 users will go to the shared server 1 and 50 users will go to the shared server 2 to handle the request and response. So you can configure the two shared server. For one special process, you can configure the two shared server. So 50 users. So 50 users will be handled by one shared server, and 50 users will be handled by different server. Okay. Also, you can design here. You can configure the multiple dispatcher also. If you have 200 users, then create one more dispatcher, and this dispatcher is very lightweight. This dispatcher is very lightweight, not like the program global area. It's very lightweight. So if we have 200 users, so 100 users, for 100 users you can create a different dispatcher. You can create a two dispatcher. Okay, so you need to create a one more dispatcher. Create one more dispatcher. So suppose that any other user wants to connect with the database, either it will move to the dispatcher 1 or dispatcher 2. Okay. Here either it can move here. First it will go here, then it will go here. Okay. Now it will create a request and response queue. Different request and response queue will be created. Okay. There will be different request and response queue. So this is a dedicated shared server. Okay, so now I will show you how to create a listener and how to create a TNS name. So listener is required on the server side and TNS is required on the client machine. So this is the location. We are going to create a listener on this location. Oracle home network admin. So this is a file. In this location we have two files, listener.ora and tnsnames.ora. Okay, so this is a server. This is a server and I will make this system as a server.
Tamam, saç çevir. Onlara geçiyor.
Okay, so we need to configure listener. So type vi listener.ora. So here, first thing you have to mention is my database name is test. Okay. So you have to mention the listener name here. What do you want to put as a listener name? So listener name is test. You can put different name here also. You can put the different name here also. Any name you can put here. Now this is the description list and address. Okay. So as I said that if you want, if A wants to communicate with the B is the server, B is the server, then this is the server. So we need the IP address. We have to create the IP address. This is the IP address of the server. Okay, and this is the door number, as I said, and door number is nothing but the port number. This is server address and server port number. Okay, now we need the SID name. SID name, we need the SID name. You can put the database name. You can keep the SID name like a database name. Okay. So you have to put the SID name and here you have to put the IP address and port number. So this is the server address. We have to create the listener on the server side. So SID name is nothing but the instance name. Okay. So you have to create the listener like this. Okay. Now you have to start up the listener. Now start. My listener name is test. Started. Here you can check the status. Listener support no services. Okay, the command completed successfully because the database is not started. So listener is not supporting any services. You can check the status here. Listener support no services. So for that we need to start up the database. So my database name is test. I am going to start up the database with the instance name is also the test. This is the instance name actually init test.ora. So init file is the instance name. Whatever you have mentioned here, create the init file, that is the instance name. Oracle SID with the same thing as I have showed you in the parameter the listener file SID. So Oracle SID equal to test. Now we'll start up the database. Start up. Now we'll check the status. So now service test has one instance. Instance test has ready. Test is ready. Now this instance is ready to connect. Okay. Now the listener is ready. And this instance is ready to connect with the client. Now this is my client. On client side, what we have to do is we have to create the TNS name. And TNS name, as I said, A wants to connect with the B. So what A need is IP address and port number and database name. So you have to configure the TNS file. So you can mention the TNS name here, this alias, TNS alias, this one is, and this is the string. Okay, so this is the string. You have to mention the address of the server. So IP address of my server is 192.168.50.46. This is the server of this machine. Okay, and port number of that machine. Now connect the data. Server equal to dedicated. You can here you can mention dedicated or shared. You can mention here. Okay. Now service name equal to test. Okay, service name or SID is the test. So we are going to connect test database. Whatever the here you can see the external file. So I am putting the path, IP address this one, port number this one, and service name test. Here you have to put the service name test. Okay. Now I will check for the connection. So TNS ping to test. So it is connected. You can see here. Okay. Okay. So this is connected with the server, dedicated server, and database name is the test. It's connected to the test. Now okay. So I am connected with the database here. This is my client machine. Okay. So start up the scale, and now you can connecting. We are connecting a spot. What we are doing is we are putting the username and password, and this is TNS areas. Instead of putting the all script, all the settings like IP address and SID name, instead of putting all those things, we can only put the TNS name alias. So if you put the alias, then you will be connected to the server. So I am putting the spot tiger is available here in this server. So I am going to connect. I am going to connect server with the name spot and tiger with the two test. Two test means this is the alias how we are connecting. We are connecting to the server. So the user will get the data from the client. Okay, so we are starting application SQL plus, and I am connecting the server. So you can get the all data of the, now the user will get the all data from the server. Okay, so how it is connected? How it is connected to the database server? Is it dedicated server or shared server? So we have the command to check. Select distinct server from the database. So so you cannot get the information here. You have to connect to the sysuser. So here you can see select distinct server from BitTorrent server session. This dedicated server. Here, if you want to check here, you will connect to the this user, but it's not connected. Okay, so this is the dedicated server. Now, if you want to configure a shared server, then what you have to do is you have to check how to check if this is dedicated server or shared server. We have to modify the parameter file. So parameter shared server. So if it is a 0, if the value is 0, then this is not in the dedicated server. Okay. So if the value will be more than 0, then it will be the shared server. You can also check so parameters dispatcher. So there is no dispatcher here. Okay. If you create the shared server, then dispatcher will be created automatically. Okay. If you create a shared server, it will be created. Dispatcher will be created automatically. So how to create a shared server? Either you can shut down the database, or you can configure the shared server when the database is up and running. So folder system shared server equal to scope equal to 4. Now we'll check so parameter server. So now it's a shared server. Now user will connect with the shared server process. So dispatcher will be created automatically. Protocol equal to TCP. So it will be created automatically. Okay. So this shared server is configured. Now this client don't want to use the shared server process. Okay, if this client wants to use the dedicated server process and doesn't want to use the shared server process, then in the TNS name here you can put the server equal to dedicated. So if client wants to communicate with the server, then this now also this client will connect with the dedicated server, not with the shared server. If you mention in the TNS entry server equal to dedicated, then it will be connected through the dedicated server process. Okay. If you mention server equal to shared, then it will be connected with the shared server process. So it will not use the dispatcher process. Now, till now, this client will not use the dispatcher process. This will use the program global area. Okay, if you mention the dedicated. So either you can connect to the dedicated server process or shared server process. If you configure shared server process also, then also it will be connected with the dedicated server. So it's your wish how you want to connect with the database. So you can here now you can check this is a dedicated server, sorry shared server. Okay, I can change to the shared server. We need to check actually here, but I'm not able to connect. Okay, so this user now we have changed that shared server here. Now here we are how we are connecting. Now still we are connecting with the dedicated server process. Okay, we have configured the shared server process, but here we are connecting with the dedicated server process. Why? Because in TNS entry we have mentioned the dedicated. Now I want to use the shared server process. So you can actually remove here. You can here server equal to shared. Now it will use the dispatcher process. Now I will connect to the sys user. Sys user is sys user. I am connecting to the sys user. This database sys user. So connect sys and 1 second. So this is sys user connected with the shared server process. So you can check here the currently running SID will be connected with the shared server process, not the dedicated server one. So actually this user is connected, this user is connected with dedicated server only. Okay, I am going to connect with one more user. One more user. So, so here you can see the spot user connected with the none. None means this user is not performing anything on the database. Once it is performing anything, it will be changed to the shared server. Once till the user is performing any operation, it will be changed to the shared server. Afterwards, it will show the status none. So here the status will be none. If it is executing that during that time, it will show as shared. Otherwise, it will show none. If you are using dedicated server, it will show the dedicated. Otherwise, it will show. If you are using shared server, it will show the none. Now the networking is done. Now how to connect from one database to another database. Now till now we are connecting with the client machine to the server machine. Now I want to connect from one database to another database. So how to connect? Then how to connect from one database to another database? Okay, if you want to get the data from one database to another database, how to connect it? So for that we need the uh, link, database link. We have to create the database link. So what is a database link? A database link is a pointer that defines one-way communication path from an Oracle database server to the another database server. So if you want to communicate with one database to another database, we have to create the link. So it is one way. One way means if you define link from database 1 to database B, then the database A can access information from database B. So suppose that this is a database A. Okay, and this is database B. So private link is used to connect. Private link is used only by the user. Public link, if you create the public link, then it will be accessed by the all user in the database. Global link means if you are creating a global link, then all user, uh, if you are using the directed server, then all database, you will access the all database actually. So what is the advantage of the database link is it allows local user can access link to the remote database without having to be a user on a remote database. So if you don't have the user name in the remote database, also you can connect to this user. If we have user Scott here and we don't have the user Scott here, then also you can get the Scott data. You can access the Scott data from this machine, from this database. Now, how to create the link? How to create the link? So first we need to connect with the listener and TNS name. It's already connected. Now we have the here. We have the prod database. So the private link is more secure than public or global link because only the owner of the private link or subprogram within the same schema can use the link to access the remote database. So private link is more secure. Now how to create a database link? Now I am going to create a database link. We have the user here of course. So select star from here. So we have the user score. Now I want to get the data from this database to our database. Now first I want to check how many database links are present in this database. So we have the views, describe DBA, DB, links. Okay. So you can check the owner, who is the link owner. Select owner, DB, link, username, created from from DB links. So we have multiple links here. So first what I will do is I will drop all the links. We have this database link is owner is his. This is owner is his. Database link name is link to. Okay, username is Scott. So first I will drop. Okay, so we are not able to drop the link 3 and 5 because it was a private link and created by the Scott user. So a Scott user only can drop this link. So now we don't have the link here. Now I want to create a link with the Scott user. So if you are going to create a link, then you have the permission to create the link. Otherwise, you cannot create the link. If you don't have the permission to create the link, you cannot create. So for that, we need to grant the permission. Grant create link to scope. Grant create database link to scope. Now this Scott user can create the link, but the Scott user can create only private database link. That Scott user cannot create the public database link. If we want to allow the Scott user to create the public database link, we have to grant the permission, grant create public database link to Scott. Now the Scout user can create the public database link and the private database link. Now I am going to create a link for title. Now create database link. If you are going to create the database link and if you don't mention the public or private, then it will be the private link. So create database link 1, link 1. Okay. Connect to, suppose that I am going to connect with the user ABC. So I am going to create link on the ABC user. Okay, so for that we need to grant the permission on the ABC and create database link to ABC. Okay, so now I have granted the permission. We will connect to the ABC. Okay, now I am going to create a database link and I want to get the data, a Scott user is present here and I want to get all this data from this database to this database and through the user ABC. So now we'll create the link, create database link 1, connect to a Scott. We have to mention the password identified by Tiger using what we have to mention here, using TNS alias to test. So if you are using to test, now we are going to connect this database using to test. If you don't mention to test, you will not connect to the database. So we are going to create a database link 1 and going to connect to a Scott identified by Tiger using to test. So to test in this we have created a alias TNS name to test, where in the to test we have mentioned the database name there and IP address. So I am going to connect to this database. using, we have to mention the port here, single port, using to. Now database link is created. Now this user will get the data, score data. This username is ABC, right? So now this ABC will get the score data. So what we need to do is, this user, if this user wants to get the data score, then he can fire the query, select star from, what we have to mention here, link 1. We have to mention link name, link 1. That's all. So select star from link 1, link 1 to link. So here you can check, link 1 is created by the ABC to the user score, remote user score. Uh, link 1. Yeah, you have to mention select a star from tab at link 1. So we have created link. Okay, link 1. So you have to for this thing select a star from tab at link 1. So you can get all information of this sport user. Okay. So only this ABC user can get the spot data here. A spot data of this database. Now if the sys user wants to get the data, cannot get it. Okay. I will find the same query here on the sys user. This user cannot use this link. So this is a private link will be used. This link will be used by this user only. So this link will not share with any other user. So if you want to share this link to all users, then you have to create the public database link. Now connect. Okay. Now create public database link. Database link to connect to port identified by tiger using to to this. Using to this. Now this link will be shared with any other user also. All users in this database will use this link. So select star from tab address link to. Okay, this a user. This user is ABC. Now I will connect to the sys user. Now the sys user will also get the data from this link. So this is the public link and the private link. So we have three links, three views to get information about the link. First is the DBA DB links. Select star from DBA DB links. So you will get all information whatever is present in the database. You have to connect with the sys user, then you will get all links here. all links. Link 2, link 3, link 1, you can get here. Okay, so this is the DB link. Another is the all DB link. So you have to connect to the user, and you can get the database link accessible to the user. You can connect to the ABC. So whatever the link is accessible by the user, you can get it through this views. All select start from all DB links. So this link will be accessible by this user. Link 2, link 2, and link 1. Okay, so if you created a public database link also, it will reflect here. Now, if we want to check if you want to check the owner, who is the owner of this, if you want to check the database link owned by the user. So user is the ABC. What is the link owned by this user? If we create the database public database link, then this means public database. This is the link 1 is the public database link. Sorry, link 1, not link 1. Link 2 I have created. This is the public database link. So it will be shared with all users. But who is the owner of this link? So if you want to check the owner, then this is the view. Select star from user DB links. You can check here. Link 1. Link 1 is the owner of this one spot. Okay. So link 2 is the public. Link 2 is the public. So owner will be the sys only. Only link 1 is owned by this user. Okay, so sys user has sys user don't have any link. This is not owner of any link. Sys user is not owner of any link. We have not created the link on the sys user. So sys user is no owner of the link. Okay, so we have created link on this user ABC. Okay, so you can so we use the link to access the data from the remote database.